So the next question I have is with regards to, so if a student is pursuing BCom honors, which is a 4-year degree, so how do we stand in terms of the eligibility criteria?
Okay. See, as for the new education policy that we are looking at, right? When do you get your graduation? It's after 12 plus 3, right?
Yes.
Right. That is the criteria that we look at. 12 plus 4 is honors. That if you want to pursue further and you want to gain the honors program, then you go on to become an honors graduate. But just an undergrad title or a graduation title is when you get after plus 3. CFA Institute looks at when do you get your graduation completed, not honors. So keep that as a criteria. And if you are within that program, you are working, say, want to start off level 1, look at 23 months before your graduation to give that exam on that respect. Right.
So how I looked at it is that if you are a class 12 pass student, in the first year you cannot take your level 1 exam. In the second year, after you've passed the first year exam, you take your level 2, because that would ideally be just within 23 months before your third year exam date. So your third year exam result date is your cutoff date for your graduation date. So 2 years before, that is 23 months precisely before, that is within the second year you take your level 1. Within the third year, you take your level 2. And after the third year passing result is obtained, you take your level 3. Because on institute's website, it is whatever is your graduation equivalent in your country. And in our country, with the NEP and even with the 4-year graduation policy, the fourth year is an honors degree, but after 3 years, you get a graduate degree. Whether you take it or not, whether you make it a 3-year exam or a 4-year college, that is up to you, since certain colleges are offering that option. But even if you're taking a 4-year graduation course, after third year result is out, you will be considered graduate equivalent as per the CFA Institute. So this, my understanding is absolutely fine with this.
Yeah.
So I think that clarifies. A few students also are asking this question. Next is, how does Institute assist in terms of placements for Indian students in India and for Indian students outside India?
All right. The first one is easier. Indian students in India, right? We do a certain number of activities where we do support students with career and placement. While we focus on CFA program, the teaching, the learning, the exam itself, we know there are certain aspects of your career that is equally important. If I directly come to placement, so there is a website from CFA Institute directly which deals with placement. It's called careers.cfainstitute.org. It's Career Center. You can just Google for CFA Institute plus Career Center. You should be able to get hold of the website. Now, this is a global website. So jobs that are posted here, there are a lot of jobs around India also posted here, as well as global jobs. So do peruse that at your convenience. You'll find a lot of them on the go, right? The other thing that is done in India, and this is done by CFA Society India, they host a number of events. There are full day career events or financial talent summit, as we describe, or there are on occasions we do this meet an employer, right? I think there's something coming up in July also. If you go onto the website, you'll see a meet an employer event scheduled by the society. It's meet an employer is nothing but getting an overview by the employer directly, and then potentially leading to opportunities that they might have. They'll look for CVs. So that's another forum which the society leads in. So I'll say these two are the main forum. As far as global careers goes, I think there are a number of other factors also which come in directly for an Indian candidate if you want to go and pursue a career outside India, right? Many people transition through a global MBA program. Some work for global firms, and there's an opportunity to transition across location. That is the other way they take it on. So there will be other things that you will need to do if you want to go on to pursue a global career. CFA, of course, will help you out because it's one credential globally.
Yes. So what I've seen from most of the students is that if you want to relocate outside India, a few factors that you have to see. First of all, how the economy is doing over there, because any country is going to always give preference to the locals in their country. Second, you'll have to see what kind of hiring is going on in those companies over there. The two easiest ways to relocate abroad is, one, you take up maybe a course or something in any college over there, at times even part-time courses, which gives you the ability to have, let's say, a 2-year work visa permit or something where you can apply and get jobs in those 2 years time frame. And once you have a job over there, the company takes care of getting the visa and all those things sorted. But that also depends on how the economy and how the visa policies, etc., of that country is doing. And second is, you're working in a global kind of a company over here in India, and within that company you shift in that same company in a different country outside India. And then once you have the connections and everything, once you're sorted over there basically with all your visa and all those formalities, then you can shift to another company in that country outside. So these are the two easiest ways that I've seen people moving out of India per se. And there are certain countries like Dubai or something wherein the influx is so much, the requirement or the demand is so much, wherein students with a certain number of work experience in India are also getting recruited without any education or moving within the company in those kind of companies. But generally, what I've seen is somebody would not be hiring so many freshers from a different country, and that I think is very, very important.
One more point over here, it's not directly related to getting a job in a different country, but rather moving across to a different country. I have mentioned about global MBA programs, right? Not many of candidates are aware, but completing CFA up a few levels or the full charter also qualifies to waiver to GRE and GMAT scores for some of the global MBA programs. Right. So if that's something you are interested, do keep in mind if you're a candidate pursuing the program. Our website lists different colleges and what's the waiver that they are offering. So that's one more possible path you can choose.
Also, CFA is considered masters globally, masters equivalent. So for PhD candidates also, you do not have to do a master's separately if you have a CFA charter.
Okay.
That's also something I've looked into. Next question is, why do some CFA candidates get, I think we've already answered, maybe a CFA candidate is getting 5 lakh rupees per annum versus somebody getting a 40 lakh rupees per annum. I think we've covered this already. Next question would be, how does CFA charter particularly impact salary and career progression? The charter part. I'm comparing a CFA level 3 passed with a CFA level 3 charter holder.
Okay. I mean, the credential itself, you can't use CFA against your name if you are not got your charter yet, right? So as far as the opportunity goes, so if you're working for one of the global companies, right, you mention CFA against your name, that opens up a lot of door, lot of conversation. So it builds a trust. They might not know the college which you went through or any of the programs that you did there. But if you say that, hey, I'm Aswini, Bajaj, CFA, that is a conversation opener for in a number of instances. So your career progression starts over there. The impact survey, the salary survey did mention about salary around for level 3 pass vis-a-vis a charter holder as well, right? So that itself makes a difference. You talk about career progression. The survey did touch upon from the respondents, we understood that about 72% of the candidates who responded mentioned that going through a CFA program made a difference in their career progression. So it has helped them transition, either get into relevant roles or within relevant roles, make that step up, right? So it helped them there as well.
Right. How do CFA charter holders maintain their certification and its value over time, given, with AI and with so many things that are happening and the world and the economy is moving so fast? So how do the charter holders keep themselves updated?
Yeah, that's a very relevant question, I will say, right? So your journey with CFA Institute or a CFA program doesn't end once you finish all 3 levels. As we describe it, your journey actually starts after you have completed those 3 levels. There is much more beyond the CFA program that CFA Institute or the societies which are affiliated to CFA Institute does on the ground, right? One of the things we recommend once you become a member to get your charter, we recommend that you get at least 20 professional learning credits every year. I mean, this is one of the requirements, not mandatory, but encouraged. And how do you get those professional learning credits? You either attend events that we host or the society host. There are podcasts, blogs that CFA Institute puts on his website. The Financial Analyst Journal is one of the most popular analyst journal globally. Read through that. Depending on the number of time spent, you get professional learning credits. You rightly mentioned, if somebody who's cleared level 3 a few years back, the curriculum has evolved significantly from there. There are AI, ML component that has come through. So how do I keep track of it? So all charter holders get something called as a refresher reading. And through that, they know what has changed in the curriculum. In fact, the practical skill model that some of the candidates will be going through right now they've been opened up for charter holders there. So we spend a lot of time and effort to ensure that any member that who are associated with us, we are giving them the resource to stay relevant. And I think the best form of staying updated is coming down for an event, network, and if possible, volunteer and contribute back to the society or the community. That's the best way of staying updated, I would say.
What are the common misconceptions about CFA program? I'm also very keen on
knowing this.
I think you should have to tell me because you teach in,
So-
day out. What do you hear? I have a few things in mind, but I will probably hear from you as well first.
So one misconception is CFA is all about stock markets. It's about finance, and stock market is one barometer of how the economy and how the financial economy is doing. And there's fundamental research and everything that is covered in CFA program as well. So it's one part of the CFA program, but finance is much broader than that. So that is one misconception. Second is that it's valued more in India as compared to the US, which again I believe is a problem because people look at it from the similar purchasing power parity point of view, which is not the same. So you have to compare on a post-tax basis after the expenses you have in that particular country, what is the savings you could make possibly. So the salary for any profession in India versus US would be very different when you're comparing it in INR terms. And also that too, people look at it on a pre-tax basis without considering the expenses and lifestyle and all. So that is, I think, another misconception that people have. And I think I'm aware of only these two that comes to my mind right now. Anything else that you feel is
Heard a few, but I will just touch upon 2 or 3 on that.
Okay.
I think the one I usually hear sometimes is I can finish the program in say 1 to 3 months, right? It depends on student to student. I mean, if say somebody within your friend circle has completed in 1 month, that doesn't mean that you can also do it in 1 month. CFA
also they're not always honest. They're not always honest when they're saying they're completed in 1 month. Yeah.
not always honest. I mean, I'm saying so, but there might be somebody who's very exceptional. But having said that,
Also,
They could have past background in finance in terms of studying somewhere else, or they could also have past experience as well.
or we rather suggest that you spend at least 300 hours at each level. That's a
Yeah.
suggested time. And we do not
Yeah.
say that cramp up those 300 hours within a month or so.
Yeah.
Give yourself enough time, 6 months at least, to prepare for the program. That's when you
Yes.
really assimilate the knowledge that we are teaching you through the program, right?
Correct.
Don't rush through the program. You'll then come exam day, you'll be trying to identify how do I reschedule or defer my exam, right? Be disciplined. You will be able to give the exam in the first attempt itself, right? That's one thing. The second I hear sometimes is it's a program for say finance or commerce students. You mentioned stock market, may just go interested, right? We see a lot of candidates now beyond say the traditional finance commerce
Yeah.
program coming in. A lot of engineering students pick this up, right?
Yes.
We have charter holders in the community who have who have had engineering backgrounds. In fact, we did a
Yes.
webinar recently.
Yeah.
We invited 2 charter holders who are working in the say on the AI side, and their background is engineering. So combination of engineering and finance skills is also what is looked out for. So don't be under the misconception it's only for finance. And I
Right.
think the third we talked about right at the start, it leads to a career in investment banking. Investment banking is a part of a broader financial service or
Yeah.
investment management industry. So keep your horizon wide on that when you're coming into the program. I think there are more about discussions or misconceptions I've heard, but this I think I wanted to just share the top 3 from my mind.
Perfect. So we'll just take up a few questions from the chat box that the students have posted. So one question I have is it practical to go for CFA level 1 after graduation, and how much time to give for preparation? So from my experience, I'll just tell you that I think students who are full-time students take about 5 to 7 months, 6 months on an average, if I would say, in terms of preparation. And 5 months is also good. For working professional, generally it's on an average, I would say around 7-8 months, 8 months, but generally between 6 to 8 months. But 8 months is something that is very safe in terms of working professionals. Beyond 10 months or so, I think that, people don't start. They're very lazy then 10 months before the exam because they feel there's too much time. So that's what I've seen. And I always suggest students to take up your level 1 and 2 while graduating so that you get better placements post-graduation is done. And level 3 along with your experience. So never to sit idle and just prepare for the exam if your graduation is done. Always study with your job, and even if you're not able to take the exam in 6 months, you have to take each level in 9 months. But if you're already a graduate, you should always be a working professional and studying together. Anything that you want to add to this, Sachin?
I mean, to your last point, nothing will replace experience, right? So
Yes.
don't sit
Yes.
back and just study for some program or the other program. Gain that work experience, irrespective of what role you get into. It will always be valuable.
Right. Next question I have is, suppose I clear level 2 in final year of graduation and want to do MBA after graduation. Is it possible to manage CFA level 2 along with CAT preparation in final year itself? I think I've answered this so many times. Just don't try to do it in November. So if you're taking your CAT preparation in November, you should take your level 2 in May, because then you'll be, and May, you take your level 2 in May and you're immediately going to a B school in June, July, because the colleges start during June and July, June end mostly. So I think that's the best way to go about it from what I've seen with the students. Anything you want to add, Sachin, to this?
I agree. I mean, don't try to club two professional exams or entrance exams at the same time. Of course, if you're giving entrance exams, they might be one after the other, some of this for colleges.
Yeah.
But everything requires a significant investment of your time and discipline. So don't bifurcate those time. मैं ये भी करूँगा, मैं वो भी करूँगा.
I feel very hypocritical answering this because I used to take 3 exams every semester with college during my time.
I will leave you to that. You have to answer to a student. How did you manage? That's your secret sauce. That.
Which course along with CFA, MBA or CPA? What's your take?
Depends on the role. Why would you want to do an MBA or a CPA? Depend along with CFA. It depends on where you want to get in, right? If you're only looking to get into an investment analyst role, CFA by its own is sufficient. You do not need to get in. CPA will take your focus into an accounting or an audit.
Accounting, tax, law, and audit. Yeah.
So these are two divergent tracks. There is, of course, some overlap, but then decide, because both of them require an equal investment of time again. MBA is a complementing skill sets. Many people who want to go for a wider business related roles, right? Say a consulting or a strategist kind of role, and want to leverage finance along with that, they go for that combination. A lot of MBA students do come for CFA program as well. We have seen. So yeah, it's a complement. So depends on your role and aspirations where you are.
How does CFA help in CMT?
All right.
CMT is Chartered Market Technician. With the technical analysis
right?
part.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact details, but CFA is more around fundamental analysis. While when you get into CMT, you get into a little bit more detail on technical analysis. So it's a little different. Possibly you can cover this more wider if you touched upon CMT earlier.
So I think CMT level 1 is exempt for CFA charter holders. So that is one. Second, technical analysis is going to be a lot about the art and the way you deal with it and everything. So CMT should be done after you've already worked 6 months minimum in the live markets, because otherwise you not understand the indicators and all, because it is something to be done very practically and to be learned through practice rather than through theory. So once you have a basic understanding of practice, then you complement it with theory with CMT, then it makes sense. CMT does not have the fundamental side of it. It's purely technical analysis. CFA covers technical barely in terms of the level 1 and level 2 curriculum. But even with respect to technicals, you need to have an understanding of fundamentals and derivatives and risk and financial statements and economy and news, which is all covered in the CFA curriculum. The technical analysis is not there in CFA curriculum. It is there just briefly we are touching upon it. But in terms of performance measurement and portfolio and all those aspects are there in CFA. So the other aspects apart from technical analysis that is needed for a trader is going to be there in CFA, but technical analysis is just touched upon in one of the chapters in CFA. So that's what my take would be with regards to CFT. We've answered quite a few questions with regards to job. We've already said that, if you're a graduate, always study with the job, even if you have to take the exam, maybe delay your exams by 3 months or so. Yes, I think we've completed right on time. Thank you so much, Sachin, for joining in and answering all the questions. And any closing thoughts, Sachin?
We touched upon a lot around careers for freshers, careers in different sectors, roles, right? Do read about a lot of these careers. We have assets on our website. If you go on to cfainstitute.org and under the Explore Career Path, there is a section. Look through that, read through that. There is a career guide for India that we had released in 2022. It's still relevant. It has a lot of sectors covered, as well as skill sets, competencies, and salaries also mentioned wherever available. We have mentioned that in the career guide. It's there on CFA Society India's website. The society runs a lot of YouTube sessions around careers, right? Do subscribe to the channel. And of course, Aswini, you cover a lot of this also time and again on different roles and relevance. So as much as you listen here, read about careers, there will be a more clarity as you go on. And then bring forward to the discussion when you meet Aswini or when you come across to me at an event. You can then ask questions beyond that, right? Which will be more helpful and relevant to you as an individual. All the best in your careers, and we wish you all the best. If you are somebody who's going to pursue CFA program as well, all the best with that as well. Thanks Aswini.
Thank you so much. Thank you.